All I can say after leaving episode 2 of Konosuba, an explosion on this wonderful world, is it's no wonder Megumi is the Chuuni we know and love from season 1 onwards, because when you go to a school that essentially is all about making you seem cool in the magical world, and honestly, the behavior that we got to know and love in the main series, the more you watch of this spin-off, which shows the before the main show, showing her at school, how she grew accustomed to that explosion magic, the more you just let out this sigh saying, it's no wonder she is the way she is in the main show. Because when the teachers bless their heart, they are amazing additions for a side cast, but they are idiots. They are without a doubt Chuunis themselves. There's this moment because basically, your little pastime of loving gargoyles pretty much bites everyone in the butt, and the fact that they're launching this giant attack, yes, the city is under attack, so therefore buildings would naturally be destroyed when monsters are flying around and causing a ruckus. However, the core reason the entire city got destroyed is because they got so overblown with trying to look cool. There's literally this moment, so they're just all standing in a line, they're firing their individual attacks. Almost every other second, one of the characters, and they all did it at some point, would look back to make sure the students were still watching just so that they knew they were cool. And the fact that by the end of it, when you see them launch, essentially you would have swore they were doing explosion magic. The fact that the only one with the sane mind is Nguyen being like, no, this wasn't because of anything other than your own stupidity. I'm gonna love this one. Full live reaction is available on my Patreon if you're interested in seeing my full uncut thoughts. I really enjoyed episode 2. I would actually say the second half of this episode, so around the 10-minute marker all the way to the end, that content itself is probably my favorite content we've seen out of the 2 episodes. I think as a whole, episode 1 did exactly what it needed to, but there's something between the cuck joke to just the Chuuni school dilemmas that we get to experience. It is all so good. I mean, it's really nice seeing the rivalry frenemy dynamic between Nguyen as well as Megumin, and the fact that there's this moment where basically Nguyen's trying to be partners with our girl, and ultimately, very much so, like, this is a group that is just going to be dysfunctional in more ways than one. And the fact that ultimately Megumi ends up getting paired with someone else, and then the fact that Nguyen wasn't left out and actually got recruited, the fact that this girl is this what it means to be a cuck, and I'm like, okay, I was not expecting you to drop that joke, but that definitely, the only show that has potential to be a funnier joke than that cuck joke is probably The Legendary Hero is Dead, just because that show has some golden jokes from its first episode, so you never know what episode 2 of that one could deliver, but gotta say, that definitely is a contender for joke of the week if you ask me. But the whole moment when they're building into killing these animals, so the teacher ends up freezing this like lizard and the head's exposed, and it's all about like prior to that, they're like picking up their swords, almost doing chants, trying to make themselves look incredible, and then Nguyen's like, these weapons don't even weigh anything. Of course, that's gonna get you negative points at this school. And the fact that it goes from that to like this adorable bunny, and the fact that Megumi was just ready to bonk its head in, I was like, okay. This girl fits way too well in this school, but it's no wonder she turned out to be the murder psychotic explosion god that we came to know and love in the first season. And like I said in my first impressions, is that if there's any character that deserved a spinoff, it was her, because the whole concept of why she loved explosion magic, what turned her into the crazy girl we know and love. While most characters you can do a backstory and have that work in the main show, an episode or 2 showing a backstory, I think there's so much potential with her as a character that it makes the most sense to give her that spin-off, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing. I love the family dynamic. I'm pretty sure she gave her little sister the sandwich that she shook down from Nguyen after she demanded her after helping her pick out a dagger to go between her fingers, and the fact that she just gave up immediately and said she lost, the rivalry is just comedy gold. But I like it. It knows how to have fun, it knows how to build the character that we know and love into who she was. And I think while it's a simplistic premise on paper, I love the idea of what caused her to love explosion magic and refuse to back down. In terms of practicality, is it worth it? No. But the idea that something gave her such a thrill, such an adrenaline rush that all these other forms of magic are pointless, it's no wonder why she decided to stick with it even though everyone else says otherwise. The fact that you can keep a cat at school just because you made a cool enough Chuuni story in terms of you'll die if she's split apart from you, like, I mean, it's pretty fantastic. Though the whole joke was pretty great. So when they're running away from the gargoyle, basically a fire erupts underneath and saves them momentarily. And the dude who basically is a stalker, I mean, it's kind of wild coming off of Ocean no Code to then coming into this, two very different stalker experiences, but the fact that they leave this man in the hole because they're so disgusted with him, icing on the cake. I'm having a blast with this one. I think overall production does what it needs to. You can definitely nitpick, like there's moments where the gargoyles are flying across the screen, there's a few of them, and it looks pretty ugly, or character models dip, but like I always say, if there's any type of show that I'm okay visually dipping, it's comedy series, because usually the simplistic moments that dip, I mean, you just end up laughing because you're having a fun time anyway. And I do like the style. I like the fact that it does wear its heart on its sleeve in terms of the family dynamic, but I love the fact that it just explains so much. I mean, there was so many moments when initially watching the first season of Konosuba where I was like, why? Why does she care about this magic? Why would you go to such lengths that day after day you would have our boy carry you back after casting a single explosion spell? Like, why do you need this? What really causes you to enjoy it that much? Or how did you become such a Chuuni when everyone else in this world seemingly is not like you? But looking at this spin-off, everything just gives you that, oh, this now makes a lot more sense, while just existing on its own two legs. It feels like Konosuba, but it's different. It doesn't feel like it's trying to mirror the comedy or the characterization of the first two seasons. No, it's just trying to be different in the same universe, and being a big fan of Yunyun as a character, I love seeing her be the most normal in a school that's basically gonna flunk her for just having common sense and maybe not wanting to cosplay as hard as the others, and I really, really enjoy it, man. Sometimes spin-offs, you can watch it and say that was fun, but was it really needed? But I really feel like this one, it actually adds to the enjoyment of the main show while also existing on its own two legs, and you don't get to say that too often. I mean, it's hard to mess up Konosuba. You could probably do pretty much anything and have it work in some way, but I'm really glad to know that her as a character can just succeed with this show. We don't need darkness. We don't need Aqua in order for Konosuba's world to pop. They help, don't get it mistaken. But Megumin as a character, this explosion god in the making, I mean, I really enjoy my time so far. And the fact that, while I would say the second half of this episode is stronger than the first half did have the cuck joke. So, I mean, there was some good laughs. There's some great moments, and I think the rivalry is really starting to show between these two, and the fact that one wants nothing to do with it and the other is a bit of a psycho that up until the cat towards the very end, she pretty much ruled that school with an iron fist. Now it feels like everyone's gonna bully her a little bit, but that's Megumin for you. Thoughts and feelings though, if you got any favorite moments, a favorite joke from this episode, there's a good amount to pick from, so let me know what you're feeling down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell of course so you get notified when I upload on the channel, and like I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon, and while you're there, you can also get a video shout out. So today, we have Fox Girl, Luke, and Zeshram, so I appreciate the support everyone. Please take care and have a good one.